Cinema in minutes. In today's video, we will be going through a crime drama film entitled Papillon. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie begins with a prisoner peeping outside his prison cell. In Paris, the year 1931, a thief and safecracker named Henri Charrière, also known as Papillon, escapes through the window after stealing, and he goes to Jean Castille. Castille shows him a man that his men beat up, warning Papillon of what will happen to the people that trick him. Papillon shows him the diamonds he just stole. Castille asks if he kept some for himself, to which he declines. Then, he got his payment. Afterward, he waits for a woman named Ninette outside the club. The two flirts. Then, Papillon gives Ninette a necklace and shows him some diamonds that he didn't surrender to Castille. As the two walk away, a man sees them, specifically the necklace that Ninette's holding. The two play and flirt around the street, then make love to each other. Afterward, Ninette tells Papillon that she wants to settle in the countryside. But Papillon is hesitant if he will be making enough money in the country. Papillon, then, asks for 6 months to save money, but she doesn't want to wait that long. Their conversation gets cut off when Papillon's landlady knocks, asking for the rent. But when Papillon opens the door, the police barge in and arrest him. Papillon is framed up for the murder of Roland Legrand, the man that Castille ordered to kill the other night. Papillon tries to reason out, saying he's with Ninette all night, to which she confirms, but they still arrest him. Later, Ninette visits Papillon and he knows that he can't get out since everything was set up perfectly. Instead, he'll just focus on breaking out of prison and getting his revenge on the people that sets him up. He also tells Ninette to move on from him, but she refuses. After Ninette is gone, an inmate next to his cell named Juliet speaks to him. He tells Papillon that in order to escape, he needs a lot of money. He, then, points to a man named Louis Degas, a counterfeiter. While walking to the ship that will take them to the prison, Papillon sets his eyes on Degas, and he notices that many people recognize the man. After boarding the ship, he immediately approaches Degas and offers him protection in exchange for money so he could escape, but Degas declines his offer. Later, as the prisoners rest, Degas witnesses the man beside him being killed by another prisoner to get the money hidden in his guts. The guards on the ship are also useless because they can just be paid not to step in. The next day, Papillon talks to Degas again, and this time, Degas accepts his offer, but Papillon clears that he's the only one escaping, to which Degas agrees. Confident that his wife will get out of prison before Christmas. When the prisoners are resting again, the same prisoner that kills the man beside Degas targets him this time, but Papillon quickly acts and stops the man. The two fight, and other prisoners cheer. They only stop when the guards step in, releasing steam. Checking every prisoner's fist for fight bruises, they got Papillon and punish him. The next day, they reach the island where they will be imprisoned. Juliet approaches them and asks Papillon for a cover. Cutting himself, he purposely falls off the ladder to be taken to the infirmary. On his way, he winks to Papillon, who's in line for a march to the prison. Entering the facility, Papillon looks around. The warden, then, orient and warn them that escaping is nearly impossible in this place. When Papillon and Degas reach their barracks, Papillon quickly occupies the corner and tells Degas to stay put. He, then, talks to an inmate asking who's assigning work in the place when Degas butts in. After agreeing with the amount of money they'll give, the man agrees to help them and give Degas a notebook. Then, Degas takes the money out of his butthole. Later, while resting, they heard gunshots. A patient from the infirmary tries to escape, and Papillon quickly realizes that it's Juliet. The scene changes to the inmates getting assigned work to do. Papillon and Degas were assigned to the infirmary, but a deputy warden transfers them to Route Zero as revenge to Degas. Route Zero is the place where they collect rocks, and Degas is not being useful. Even in pushing carts, Degas isn't helping at all. Weakened, he tells Papillon that he's having diarrhea and he lost some money. Papillon stops pushing and looks for the money down the track. While resting and eating, Degas discovers that the man beside him died. He's about to call the guard, but a man named Cellier stops him. He gets the dead man's ration of food and gives them. He, then, talks to Papillon about their life outside the prison. Seeing that Degas is in trouble, he warns Papillon, in which he quickly acts and pushes the man that assaults Degas. They continue their work and come across a group of women being led by a big man who gets stuck. The guard lets them hop in the cart that the prisoners are pushing. Papillon immediately talks to the big man and asks him for a boat in exchange for money. The big man is about to tell on him, but when he raises the offer, the big man accepts his offer. The scene changes to Papillon and Degas taking a bath. The prisoner along with others attacks them, but Papillon takes them down. Degas warns him that the guards are coming, but Papillon shouted at him. Night falls, Degas apologizes to Papillon and realizes that he'll not last long enough until his wife gets him out. so he decided to escape with Papillon. Before sleeping, Dega tells him to just call him Louis. The next day, the prisoners witness an execution. It turns out that while trying to escape, Juliet killed a guard. Putting him in the guillotine, Papillon and Dega watch silently as Juliet's head rolls down the basket. The warden, then, orders Papillon to pick another prisoner to take Juliet's body, to which he picks Dega. While taking the body to the forest, Dega breaks down and stops carrying. The guard orders him to continue, but not being able to comply, the guard whips Dega's back. Not knowing what to do to help Dega, Papillon picks a rock, then mashes the guard's head, and runs away. Other guards quickly follow him while others pick Dega up. It's already dark when Papillon reaches the big man. But it is a trap, and the guard catches him. Luckily, the guard he attacked didn't die, so they'll just send Papillon to solitary confinement in another island for 2 years. The place is too quiet, and the quietness messes with Papillon's mental stability. Given a small amount of food and working out, he does everything to keep himself occupied. One day, the window in the door opens and he peeps outside. This causes the warden of the place to pay him a visit and a couple of beating. But he's not fighting nor speaking back, just signaling them to keep quiet. Days pass again, and he is surprised to see his bucket containing a coconut with a note saying that he'll always have coconuts. Realizing it's from Dega, Papillon eats happily. But the warden discovers this and kills the man that serves food to him. Then, the warden of the prison visits him and asks the name of the one helping him, but he doesn't tell him. As a punishment, the warden cuts his ration in half. The warden tries again after some time by offering him food, but doesn't get anything either. And he orders his men to put Papillon in darkness for his remaining time in solitary confinement. In the darkness, Papillon starts seeing and imagining things. He remembers his time with Ninette, but Dega is playing the mime. Then, he sees a vault and tries to open it but fails. Upon seeing the mime Dega again, the vault opens and he sees his past self on the other side of the vault, then it cuts to black. 2 years have passed and Papillon is being taken back to the prison island. Meanwhile, Dega has become an aide for the warden. Dega visits Papillon in the infirmary and talks to him. He discovers that Papillon is just acting to have a mental illness. Then, they discuss a plan to escape wherein they'll take advantage of the movie showing event that will take place in the prison. After telling that they need the help of Celier, Papillon acts crazy and pushes Dega away. The scene changes to Papillon witnessing the infirmary attendant sexually assaulting a patient named Maturette in the comfort room. He, then, talks to Maturette and offers him to escape with them, in exchange for distracting the infirmary attendant, to which he agrees. The next day, Papillon, Dega, Celier, and Maturette talk about their plan to escape. After the meeting, Dega is suspicious of Celier, but Papillon trusts him. He, then, gave Dega the sedatives to put the guards to sleep. Night comes, everyone is having fun. Dega asks for a bottle of liquor, then puts the sedatives in it. Meanwhile, in the infirmary, Maturette flirts with the attendant. Papillon and Celier quickly follow and take him down. Pissed, Maturette kicks him and makes noises. The guards below heard it and one of them checks on them. Luckily, the sedatives made him fall unconscious, then they attack the remaining guard downstairs. The three are now just waiting for Dega, who's currently called on to serve the warden and his visitors. Suddenly, it starts raining and the power gets cut off. Panicking, Celier and Maturette just want to go, but Papillon won't go without Dega, who runs in a different direction. But he suddenly shows up carrying the keys to the central walkway. Taking advantage of the darkness, they sneak out and jump out of the gate. But when it's Dega's turn to jump, the power gets back on. Although he is able to jump, he lands badly, breaking his leg. Celier wants to leave Dega behind, but Papillon doesn't want to leave him. On their way into the forest, they're cornered with armed men. A man that seems to be the leader appears, and it turns out that he's the one that Celier talks to about the boat. The four manages to sail into the sea, but they're too heavy for the small boat they have. Celier still talks to Papillon about leaving Dega behind, but he declines again. Unfortunately, a storm is approaching their way. Desperate, Celier picks a knife and tries to kill Dega, but Maturette attacks him, but he's stronger and just pushes Maturette to the ocean. Then, Papillon and Celier fight. Celier is overpowering Papillon, but Dega picks up the knife and stabs Celier to death. Throwing his body in the ocean, the three makes their way in the storm in the middle of the ocean, then it cuts to black. Papillon suddenly wakes up after having a nightmare about Dega killing Celier. He, then, find out that they're rescued into a community. Walking outside, a nun greets and tells him that they're on Columbia and that the other two are getting treated as well. Talking about religion, the nun says she knows where they came from, and they just need to repent for their sins. After cleaning himself, Papillon goes to Degas and tells him that they need to leave. But Degas doesn't want to, saying that their deal is now over. Papillon leaves and meets Maturette, who's enjoying his stay in the community. Bidding his goodbye to Maturette, he goes on his way, but he spots a truck of police coming. He quickly returns to Degas and helps him walk to escape. Maturette, on the other hand, is shot dead by a policeman and the two are caught. The nun tells on them. 5 years have passed, and Papillon is out again of solitary confinement and will be taken to the Devil's Island, where it is impossible to escape. There, he meets with Degas again. It turns out that the warden sent him to Devil's Island directly after getting caught. Looking over the cliff, Papillon realizes a way to escape. Telling Degas that riding the waves will take them to the land, the two make a raft out of coconuts. Degas secretly puts one of his drawings in a bottle and gives it to Papillon. The day of their escape comes. Degas tells Papillon that he will not leave. Degas tells Papillon that he belongs to the island and assures him that it will be okay. The two men hugs, and with one last handshake, Papillon jumps off the cliff. Degas thought that Papillon didn't make it, but he suddenly shouted Degas' first name, telling him that he made it. Papillon floats in the middle of the ocean, looking above where an airplane passes by. In 1969, old Papillon is riding an airplane back to Paris to publish his memoir. His wife convinces him to write his experiences. Still having Louis' drawing with him, Papillon tells the publisher that his story is the story of many men. The movie ends with a picture of the real Henri Papillon Charrière shown to the audience.